You know that sound? That specific low-frequency hum of a server room? It's almost like white noise. You stop noticing it until, suddenly, it stops.
The sound of silence. In the IT world, that is absolutely the most terrifying sound in existence.
Exactly. It's the sound of money burning. It's the sound of panic. And today, we are talking about the thing that stands between you and that terrible silence. We are looking at the heavy artillery of power protection, the APC 3000 VA Smart UPS, specifically the SMT 3000 RM2UC.
Heavy artillery is the right phrase here. This isn't the little plastic strip you buy at an electronics store to plug your lamp into. This is enterprise-grade survival gear.
It really feels like it. I mean, looking at the specs, this is a 2U rack mount unit, weighs a ton, and costs somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000. That is a serious investment. So, before we get into the weeds, who is actually buying this? Is this for Google? Or is this for the guy running a massive gaming server in his basement?
It's actually for neither, usually. It sits right in that sweet spot, the missing middle. Think about a regional medical practice, an accounting firm, or a branch office of a larger corporation. They have mission-critical data, maybe one or two racks of gear, but they don't have a 24/7 facilities team monitoring the power grid. They need something that acts like a data center but operates on a smaller scale.
Right, so the stakes are high, but the resources are limited. Let's talk about the capacity first. It's listed as 3000 VA or 2700 watts. For the non-electrical engineers listening, what does that actually get you?
In real-world terms, it's substantial. You could run a typical 1U server, which might draw 300 watts for a very long time. But more realistically, you're plugging in a stack. A couple of servers, your core network switches, maybe a firewall and a storage array. This unit can hold that entire stack up.
And not just hold it up, but feed it the good stuff, right? I keep seeing this term pure sine wave in the documentation. It sounds like marketing fluff. Is it?
Oh, definitely not fluff. It's critical. See the electricity coming out of your walls, a smooth wave. Cheap battery backups, when they switch to battery power, produce this jagged, blocky wave called a modified sine wave.
Blocky electricity. That doesn't sound appetizing for sensitive electronics.
It's not. Old light bulbs didn't care. But modern servers, they use active power factor correction, PFC power supplies. If you feed them that jagged, blocky power, they can overheat, buzz, or just shut down entirely to protect themselves. So, you spend money on a backup battery, the power goes out, and your server turns off anyway because it hates the power quality. The APC unit delivers a pure, smooth wave. It's clean fuel for a Ferrari.
That's a great analogy. So you're paying for compatibility as much as capacity. But here's something that caught my eye in the review: AVR, or automatic voltage regulation. It sounds like a feature you'd ignore, but the review says it's where the unit shines. Why?
Because power outages aren't your only problem. In fact, they aren't even your most common problem. The grid is messy. You get brownouts, sags, and spikes constantly. Without AVR, a standard UPS would switch to battery every time the voltage dips slightly.
Which would kill your battery life, I assume?
Exactly. It's like braking your car every time you see a pebble on the road. Your brake pads, the battery, would wear out in no time. AVR is like a shock absorber. It boosts the voltage if it's too low or trims it if it's too high, all without touching the battery. It's silent, it's automatic, and it ensures that when the power actually cuts out completely, your battery is full and ready.
That is huge. It's active conditioning, not just a passive bucket of electrons. Now, I have to play devil's advocate here. I buy this thing, I unbox it, I go to plug it into the wall outlet in my office, and I can't.
Laughs. No, you definitely cannot. And please don't try to force it.
It uses a NEMA 5 to 30p plug.
Correct. This is a 30 amp plug. Your standard office or home outlet is 15 amps. This unit draws so much power to charge and pass through that it requires a dedicated circuit. This is the gotcha moment for a lot of SMBs. You need to call an electrician before this box even arrives.
That's a vital detail. It reinforces that this is infrastructure, not an accessory. But let's move to the back of the unit. We've got the big input plug and then a mix of outlets. 6 standard ones, 2 20 amp ones. But the cool part is the switchable outlet groups.
The This is where the hardware starts to feel like software. This feature turns the UPS into a smart power distribution unit. Let's say the power goes out. You're running on battery. You have maybe 20 minutes of runtime. Do you really need the office Wi-Fi access points or the backup file server running?
Probably not. You want the core database and the domain controller to stay alive.
Exactly. So you can program the UPS to cut power to the non-essential Group A outlets immediately, shedding that load. Suddenly, your 20 minutes of runtime for the critical stuff turns into 40 minutes. It buys you time.
That's smart. It's triage for your electronics. But there's another use case for that, isn't there? The dreaded hung server.
The classic, have you tried turning it off and on again? But what if that server is in a branch office 3 hours away, or it's 3:02 a.m.? With the switchable groups, if you have the advanced plan, you can log in remotely and cycle the power to just that specific outlet.
That one feature alone could save a truck roll, sending a technician out. That pays for the unit right there.
It does. And that leads us to the biggest shift APC has made with this line, Smart Connect.
The cloud. Everything is going to the cloud.
It is. Traditionally, managing a UPS was a pain. You needed a network card, which cost extra, and you had to set up a server to listen to it. Smart Connect is basically plug-and-play monitoring. You plug an Ethernet cable into the back, scan a QR code, and boom, it's on your dashboard.
It alerts you on your phone?
Email, text, dashboard alerts. It tells you if the battery needs replacing, if the power went out, or if the unit is running hot. It's designed for the IT manager who is managing 10 different office locations from their couch.
But there's a catch. There's always a catch. The review mentioned a subscription?
There is. The standard monitoring is free, well, included, but if you want that remote reboot capability we just talked about, the ability to cycle the outlets from your phone, that requires the advanced plan.
And you get a 6-month trial out of the box?
If you bought it after August 2023, yes. It's a bit of a shift for hardware people. We aren't used to subscribing to our power strips. But again, compare the subscription cost to the cost of an emergency IT call out on a Sunday.
That's the math you have to do. It's risk management. Speaking of management, what if you don't want the cloud? What if you are a security-conscious firm that doesn't want your power infrastructure talking to the internet?
APC still has you covered. You can use the PowerShoot software. It runs locally via USB or serial connection. It's great for graceful shutdowns, telling your server, hey, we have 5 minutes of battery left. Please save everything and shut down safely.
So it doesn't just cut the power and corrupt your database.
Precisely. Hard shutdowns are how data gets corrupted. PowerShoot ensures the server puts itself to sleep before the battery dies.
Let's zoom out a bit. We've talked about the tech. But I want to touch on the durability. The review mentions lead-acid batteries. In a world of lithium-ion everything, isn't that a bit old school?
It is old school, but it's reliable and cheaper up front. The downside is weight. This thing is over 60 pounds, and lifespan. You're looking at replacing those battery cartridges every 3 to 5 years. It's a maintenance cycle you have to plan for. If you ignore it, one day the power will go out, and the UPS will just beep sadly and die instantly.
The beep of regret.
Laughs. The beep of negligence. But the unit itself is built like a tank. It's meant to sit in a rack for a decade. The batteries are just consumables, like tires on a car.
So, looking at the pros and cons, pros. Pure sine wave, massive capacity, that clever AVR and the cloud monitoring. Cons. It's heavy, it's expensive, you need a special outlet, and you have to pay extra for the cool remote reboot features.
That sums it up. But I think the con of the price is relative. If this unit saves your business from being offline for 4 hours during a busy workday, it paid for itself in one afternoon.
And that's the philosophical angle here, isn't it? We are so dependent on these blinking lights in dark rooms. When we buy a UPS like this, we aren't buying a battery. We're buying continuity. We're buying the illusion that the world is stable, even when the grid isn't.
That's beautiful and terrifying, but yes, it's about resilience. For small business, this APC unit is the difference between a glitch and a disaster.
And for the IT manager, it's the difference between sleeping through a storm and driving to the office in the rain.
And I know which one I'd prefer.
Absolutely. So if you're running a business with critical data on site, check your power requirements, call your electrician, And maybe take a serious look at the SMT3000 RM2UC. It might just be the best employee you ever hire. Silent, reliable, and always working.
Just don't forget to replace the batteries in 3 years.
Laughs, deal. Thanks for breaking this down with me.
Anytime. Stay powered up.